And we are live. Good evening to everybody. Another Tuesday night of racing action here at HOBO. Back in action once again. Tonight it is Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, of course. And I think that we're going to be in for a fantastic race. Texas always proves to be very competitive, very challenging for these guys, but also quite it can be very, very challenging and also at the same time keep everyone pretty close together. So I think that we're going to be seeing some really, really good racing here tonight. Opted to fly solo here for this one. But I think that regardless, it's still going to be a good show. Of course, we got the Rubino fan club in the chat once again. Hello, Anne, and if Barbara is watching. Let's see what we got on tap for this evening. Looking like 27 drivers as we are just about to get to qualifying here. But as they get it to qualifying here, I figured I would kind of update everyone on the kind of coming into this race, where we're at so far. We are 11 races into the season thus far, and again, though, we've been very, very competitive all season. We are up to 3 multi-time winners, of course, but it took us until race 9 to get that multi-time winner, which is always impressive. As these guys now get it to the qualifying session. But currently leading the standings is Herman Reese in the 73 with 1,750 points. Steve Grant, 41 back on him. So those two have been really, really close together throughout the entire course of the first third of this season. And that is very, very impressive on their part with what they've been able to do. Herman Reese with the big speed and Steve Grant with the consistency. Of course, Steve did get that very epic win at Darlington. You got Jeff Stacanis, Fugate, and Ryan Johnson in the top 5 in the current point standings. Also in the top 10 right now, and drivers who would qualify for the chase would be Keith McLean, Ken Hansen, Eddie Rayleigh, Duke Sorensen, and Wiley King. Those guys are in the top 10, so they would be locked and would ensure their spot in the postseason. Also, anyone, of course, with a win outside of that mark would ensure their spot as long as they make half of the starts. Right now, Caleb Lingle, the only driver outside of the top 10 in points who would qualify under that ruling. And Caleb Lingle down 17th in the standings as it goes. Good to see you, Matt. Okay, so best of luck tonight for the last night of pool for a little while. Hopefully I'll get to see you on track here soon enough. Over here at HOBO, or really wherever for that matter. But yeah, we've got, if I am counting correctly, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, still 8 different winners in these 11 races. Very, very impressive stuff. Of course, Herman Reese, Fugate, and Eddie Rayleigh are those multi-time winners. Rayleigh winning the race at Talladega last week after a one-lap shootout. Had to fend off the 113 of Caleb Lingle in order to make that happen, and he was able to do so. Looks like Caleb is actually not going to be able to make it tonight. So we'll see what these 27 drivers are going to be able to do. Again, that is the count that I have right now in TeamSpeak. Just some other kind of fun little stats here. Most top 10 so far on the season are tied between those top 2 in points, Reese and Grant, with 9 apiece. Tied with most top 5s are Steve Grant and Jeff Stacanis. They're 2nd and 3rd in points. As qualifying has just concluded. We'll go over the full starting order here. And actually looks like we may have 28 drivers. That is huge right there. That is always cool to see. just the field size that this league gets. But Herman Reese, your current point leader, and a guy that's always fast on these mile and a halves, with the pole by over a tenth at 27.546, gets him that mark. Mark DeSenza with a great lap there to start on the front row. We'll see if maybe some luck will finally come to that 33. Our boy Mac Daddy, Keith McLean in third, ahead of Jeff Stakanis in fourth. And then Steve Grant, Wiley King, that's row 3. Maverick and Fugate, 7th and 8th. And then rounding out the top 10 are Ken Hansen and Randy Smith. Also starting tonight, Eddie Rayleigh, like I said, Talladega winner and the Martinsville winner. And then you've got Jason San Diego, Harry Kodian, Rick Castle, Duke Sorensen are your top 15. They all, top 13 were able to run in the 27s. But you have top 15 concluding with Duke Sorensen there, and then Greg Stenzo, DJ, Dan Rubino, Ryan Johnson, Monty Keller, Steve Rubino, Ron Simpson, Troy Donahue, 43, Charlie Trusty, and then Ricky Bumbelow. Round out the drivers that took lap times. Ricky Bumbelow with a staggering 44-second lap time. Also making starts tonight, though, looks like it will be Bob Gibson, Herb Johnston, KJ Kilojoules, Julian Wilson. Rounds out the field. Expect that 029 to be fast, of course. We'll be watching for Ryan Johnson to move up through the field, the Homestead winner. And yeah, the top 10 has always been a pretty competitive spot. And again, like I said, at a challenging track like this, but at the same time, a track that can really support some really, really close racing. I think that we are going to be in for a wonderful, wonderful show here tonight. We'll get you guys some live pictures here. 117 laps on tap for tonight. Pit window will range you about 30 to 33 laps, maybe longer if you're able to stretch it, but that seems to kind of be the average in my experience, because honestly, this is a game track, Texas, a track that I actually have grown to really, really love racing on, especially in open setup cup physics, which is exactly what these guys are doing, and gosh darn it, am I a little jealous that I'm not able to run. So, but hey, at the end of the day, we're here to put on a show for everybody, and gosh darn it, that is what we are going to do, and we are going to have some good fun in the process. I would expect some guys being a little bit loose, especially off of turn 2. Turn 2 tends to be a bit of the calamity corner with how the car likes to unload. And again, that's just kind of based on my own experience. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. Not the most difficult pit road to get onto, but one that is easy to speed onto. So that'll be something to keep in mind. Will be black flags throughout the course of this race. Especially if we get green flag pit stops. That could prove to be a little tricky. Trying to get down to speed. Because kind of what happens, and again I'm speaking from first-hand experience, is that the tendency is you could be way more aggressive coming onto pit road than pit road speed allows you. You could get down there in a pretty good hurry, and heck, you could probably be doing 90 by the time you cross the pit road commitment line. And of course, obviously, the game is not going to take too kindly to that, so that'd be a black flag central. But yeah, you just gotta know the limit when you're coming onto that, and hope that you got sufficient brakes in order to get it down to that speed. I Happy hour about to conclude here. We're about to get started with the race. Just a couple final points that I'll make before we get going. We should be commentating 3 different races this week. One of them I already did, and that was over on Tarnation. We got to call SMO's Bash race. Pretty much anything goes. So if you guys want to see just like a crazy, just wreck it up kind of racing, go check that out. That was a lot of fun. I actually got to participate in one of them, so definitely go check that out. Of course, we got tonight, and then Friday nights we'll be going live around 8 o'clock Eastern time, give or take, for CCR. They will be racing at Charlotte for their Aero 88 series. So be sure to tune in for that. That will be our second CCR race that we have streamed here on the channel. Field taking shape on pit road. It's just about showtime here from Fort Worth, Texas. Texas Motor Speedway. Actually, I'll give these guys a break. I'll go ahead and get on and off track right quick, so I'm not holding them up. Waiting on everyone else to emerge onto the racetrack. And we'll get this bad boy rolling. 117 laps here at Texas. There's that good old Cadillac. One of the 4 horsemen drivers. Herman Reese at the front. Marcus Senza in the 33 will be starting in the second position. That beautiful throwback Wrangler car. And then the Davey Allison throwback for Mac Daddy. Familiar car for him. And of course, Jeff Stakanis. Also, Mr. King consistency there is that 31. We've interviewed him a bunch of times, but only once has it been from Victory Lane, and that came, if I am not mistaken, that came at Atlanta, the second race of the season. I think that 31 is hungry to finally get back into Victory Lane and add his name to the multi-time winner list on the season. And then you got a couple of the Speedland guys there, Steve Grant and Wiley King in 5th and 6th, pair of Pontiacs. Here we are rounding turns 3 and 4. Race car will pull it down pit road. Everybody is rolling. We'll get back up to the front of the field here and get this party started. Pace car makes the turn, 73 and 33. Coming to the green flag with the starter. We'll wave into the air, and we are racing in Fort Worth, Texas for the 12th race of the season. Looking pretty good there through 1 and 2. Of course, cold tires, always going to be a little sketchy in these races. Everyone's just trying to keep these things straight, but Herman going to hold on to the lead from pole position. Everybody's settled down here quite a ways back. First side-by-side battle, that is Rick Castle getting passed by Duke Sorensen. There's Ryan Johnson. Guy that's always fast. We'll see what that 78 can do to work his way forward. Monty Keller is also sneaky on these types of tracks. Let's see what the 028 can do. There's the Rubino guys. We're a little further back at the field at the moment. 51, 43, 49, 029. There's the 85. Game has crashed already. Frickin' lovely. Man, I've got some investigating to do as to what the heck is going on with that, because that is incredibly, incredibly annoying. Goodness frickin' gracious. And then it's going to throw off GNL TV, and it's all just fun times. Very fun times. Let's go ahead and get back in there. Doesn't matter if I join under a different number or not, because I'm not on track, so it don't matter. So apologies to everybody.
Drivers, to your cars.
Everyone's loading back in, that's why it sounds a little glitchy. Hopefully we didn't miss anything exciting. And hopefully that was a one-off. One can only hope. Still green. And of course we did. Of course we missed something exciting. Jeff Stakanis has taken the race lead after when we left. He was third, so how about some speed out of that 31 machine? Steak and Shake Dodge up at the very front here. Of course, tire wear will definitely be playing a factor into this race, though. These guys will probably be losing probably a good second, maybe second and a half by the time the fuel run comes to a close. Mark Cosenza all over the back of the 73, where I'm sure he's probably trying to save those tires. Mike Daddy up in fourth and Steve Grant currently P5. Wiley King, Fugate, Maverick, Jason San Diego, Ken Hansen. Those are the top 10 at the moment. Ryan Johnson up to 12th. Is behind Harry Kodian, who is currently 11th. At 13, looking to get a decent run here. He's not had the best of luck this season thus far. And looking to try and turn that around here in Texas. 28 drivers indeed, all of them rolling, all of them still pretty well in line. We'll keep an eye on GNL TV here. I may have to reset that, as Mark Cosenza has taken second place and maybe looking for the race lead. Senza looks like he's on a little more of the short run car going here. We'll see if that will continue to translate into the long run. Great crossover move here if he takes it. And he will get to the inside of the 31. 31 not going to fight him hard on that one. New leader once again. This time it is Mark Cosenza in the 33. 10 laps in, 3 different leaders. Herman Riesling the outset. Jeff Stakanis was able to get up there. And now Mark Cosenza to the point. Again, question though is he pushing those tires a little bit hard here if we get a long green flag run going? Well, only time will tell. Already 10 laps in to this 117 lap event. Stakanis dropping back a little bit there. Again, I'm sure that is by design. You know, those guys like to play the long game. Keith McLean was under threat there a little bit from Steve Grant, but so far able to hold on to that 4th position. Steve Grant, though, I'm sure he's probably thinking, hey, I've got some ground to try to make up here on that 73 as he throws in the clutch. Maybe thinking long game here, maybe trying to cut down a pit stop. Looks like he's the only one doing it. And hey, if it's a little bit of insurance, you can't blame him for that one. Martinsville and Talladega winner Eddie Rayleigh there. Currently 14th. Got side by side there. Harry Kodian trying to go the long way around to get by Ken Hansen. Gets a little loose. At that trouble spot, like I said, turn 2. That is where you're going to see the most wiggling and the most potential for a spin. Duke Sorensen getting a little tight there. Just about got into the 13. Eddie Rayleigh has to go through the grass, try to pass him. Passing the grass there for the U.S. Army number 112. They're getting awfully tight. A little too tight there, I think, but everyone's keeping it straight thus far. Just going to briefly check back up front. Everything remaining the same. But man, this is it. This is the action spot right now. It's kind of midfield. Looks like they slowed it down for the time being. Ron Simpson and Randy Smith getting a little iffy. 25 was awfully close to the corner panel of that 10. So far, so clean. Fugate under fire from Maverick in the 23. Another one of the Speedlane.com sponsored cars there is that number 23. Of course, John Deere on the hood. And Ryan Johnson looking again in the top 10 and will do so as he gets by Ken Hansen. Fugate taking a peek there for 6th on a Wiley King. Not going to be able to make that work quite yet. About a little under halfway through this fuel run at the moment. Lap times fallen by a few tenths, a little less than half a second thus far that these guys are off from their fastest laps. And Jeff Stakane is just getting a little bit closer there to the 33. Again, if you have a car, if you have a long run car that you can keep turning well through the corner on those worn tires, that's what's going to make this for long run speed. Let's check it back here. Fugate going to make that pass work for 6th. Steve Grant still throwing in the clutch. Doing a good job of holding on to that thing. It's always sketchy when you get back on the power, even if you're not actively hitting the gas. Once that power hits those rear wheels, that thing will want to kick out in a real hurry. So good on him for managing to hold on to that thing. While we have a brief moment of relative calm, I'm going to click over to OBS here, which will, of course, freeze the game. Oh, well, actually, I think I'll wait a moment on that because Herman Reese getting passed by Mac Daddy. Keith McLean up to 3rd now. Alright, let's try and fix GNL-TV because it is all screwed up. So, again, frozen layout at the moment, but I can't go to my alternate screen because otherwise that's just going to completely mess it up. Alright, let's see. I do that, refresh it, and pull it back up. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Hopefully it'll reset. I will keep an eye on that. And only time will tell. Alright, back to the action. Oh, goodness gracious. Fugate on the move was very close to the back of the 11 as we tune back in there. Steve Grant looking to maybe get underneath the 73, who ends up going a little bit high there on entry. Gonna get a nice exit, though. Yeah, inside lane is definitely the preferred lane if you want to try to make up ground, but you can absolutely defend it on the outside. The nice thing about this track. Not necessarily like multi-lane in that you can make either lane fast, but if you need it, the outside lane can absolutely help you out as far as trying to defend a position. As Jeff Sakanis has taken the race lead back. Golly, I think that we have missed every single pass for the race lead. So actually, I think the 33, yeah, we saw the 33 do it. Oh, every single other pass for the lead we've missed so far. So I'm going to do a better job of that, I promise. You get up now into a top 5 position. Steve Grant back to 6th. Still clutching. And these guys continue to drop back a little bit on the lap times. Now about 7-8 tenths off of what they were able to run before. Getting into about that 1 to 1.2 seconds off by the time these guys do end up pitting, which will probably be taking place in about the next 8 laps or so. So far, clean and green for these first 24 laps. Very, very impressive to see. Just kind of checking on through the field with everybody. And so far, so good. Some Close racing here. KJ working his way forward. If he doesn't disappear. He looked to maybe sneak underneath of Rick Castle. Not quite going to be able to pull that off as of yet. If I gotta go behind Steve Grant there, Wiley King, Maverick. There's Ryan Johnson. Up to 9th. Not much surprise there. He may get underneath the Maverick here and will. Going into turn 1. Maverick, though, going to stay clear and close the door. And managed to hold on to 8th for the time being. Keith McLean starting to close in on the 33. Backs up corner entry. Going to get the power on exit. Actually, a really good corner there for the 33. I think caution might be out here. Everyone is slowing. We got trouble on the back straightaway, and it appears it is Rick Castle. 124. We saw him racing very close with the 029. Perhaps things may have come to blows. It got on the outside, and looks like the wall may have bit him here. Smack, and not a lot of room for Ron Simpson there. That sends the 124 spinning all the way down the back straightaway. A bit of a weird position there that Ron Simpson was in. It was either kind of dive low and risk turning the 028, or it's kind of getting stuck just kind of getting stuck behind the 124, not being able to slow down in time. We'll go on board with the 25 here right quick. We'll smack into the wall, and yeah, he was already committed to his line, so that's a tough position to be in. Yeah, I would say a bit of a racing deal there. That will be some side damage there for the 124. Pit stops happening right now. Let's see who all emerges where. Ooh, close there off of pit road, but it looks like the 31 will beat the 33. And then 73 will be third, followed by the 28 and 11. I'm going to take a glance here at GNL. Looks like it's still not updated. I managed to fix this before, so since we're under caution, I'm gonna try again here. So, again, everybody bear with me here for a moment. I swear that there was a way that I have fixed this before. Can't remember what it was. I have to close out of that, maybe. Shut that down. Let's reopen these. Pull that up. This back up. And refresh. So far it's saying it's not been started. I may have one more trick up the back pocket here. Everyone in the race is gonna panic when they see me disconnect, but I think this might work. Or maybe I could just refresh it again. Try that. Nope, it's still saying it's not been started. Alright. Well, then let's restart the game, shall we? I've got a moment. And I can fire it on and off again pretty quickly. So All this because the dang thing crashed on like the 3rd lap. Like, bruh. That is amateur hour. Come on now. Alright, back in we go. There we go. Alright. Alright, and then we'll have that open. We got the chat back open. Back into the game. I think that should resolve the issue. I'm hoping so. And perfect timing, we've got 1 to green. Ta-da! Golly, what a headache. Ay, ay, ay. Day that my game does not crash, that would be, quite lovely. Just, very lovely. Alright, but anyways, now we're back. We're getting everything set back up here. There we go. And it is Jeff Stakanis in the race lead ahead of Mark DeSenza, Herman Reese, Keith McLean, and Steve Grant, your top 5. Top 10 rounded out by Wiley King, Fugate, Ryan Johnson, Maverick, and Harry Codian. Lap 31 of 117. Green flag going back in the air here after the first caution of the race. Single file restart, of course. Get a great view of the full field here off of True. That was a 43 into the wall, but kept it straight. Ryan Johnson and now KJ into the top 10. Managed to get by the 13 there on the restart. Again, a couple of very dangerous drivers here on that long run as far as how much speed they're going to be able to make. Buffalo Wild Wings and the Stella Artois machines. Oof, that 029 right on the tail of the 23. Everyone keeping it single file thus far. Jeff Stakanis has checked out. Checked out big time. Everyone else lifting an awful lot here. Either playing a little more of a long game or maybe some fuel strategy coming into that. Yeah, this will put you a little iffy as far as maybe trying to shorten it by a pit stop as Fugate getting by for 6th. Wiley King going to try to fight it. And will remain to the outside of the 9. I think it's only going to last for so long, though. Keith McLean has just gotten by Herman Reese there for 3rd. Ooh, 9 gets a little tight. 95 may be able to retake that position after all, and he will. What I mean with that outside lane, you can absolutely hold on to the positions when you're up there and you get a decent run off. And that is exactly what Wiley King just managed to do, and their positions remain unchanged. Some of the speed's starting to pick up here a little bit now for some of these drivers. Herman Reese still kind of the odd one out there, although I say that, and he just ran his personal best of the race. Current best of the race so far, Monty Keller, actually. 27.924. Monty Keller going to run a little bit further back. Actually, he's made up a little bit of ground. Currently scored 14th. Aggressive run there for the 028. There's Jason San Diego. That is a guy who... The results and the positions and points do not tell the whole story. This 22, while he hasn't quite been on the same level as some of the guys who've been able to win races, he's definitely been in contention and has a car that is capable of top 10s and maybe even top 5s if things go his way. So, see if maybe things can turn around for that 22. As we were talking about the bad luck of the 113. Turned it around a little bit with the second place finish at Talladega. Obviously not out here tonight. But yeah, there's definitely a few other drivers that I would lump into the same category of just cannot catch a break, no matter how good their car is. Marcus Senza, I would argue, might be one of them, honestly. While, yeah, he is not... actually, he has made all the starts so far this season. And of everybody that... or at least he's made every race or had a provisional. But with that, of everybody that has either gotten a provisional or actually ran in every race, he's second to last of those guys, and the only other guy that's in that camp is Dan Rubino, and Dan missed a good chunk of the season on a vacation. So Marcus ends at 28th in points with only a single top 10, and again, another case of that does not tell a single bit of that story. The guy has very good speed, and he's showing it right now. He has not been outside of the top 3 this entire first 40 laps. We'll see if that will, of course, continue. We got a long, long way to go. Top 3 pulled away here a little bit. Canis, Desenza, and McLean. And then you got a bit of a train behind Herman Reese. Steve Grant is among that. Wiley King there. And there's Fugate, who's kind of riding along with the 95. Could definitely tell that he lifted off there. Almost opened the door for Ryan Johnson, potentially. Maverick now into the top 10. And the number 23. Another driver that has been sneakily running in the top 10 fairly consistently this season. Maverick. Actually, not doing too bad in points, from what I recall. Okay, it's 15th, so yeah, it could definitely be better. But so far, 1 top 5, 4 top 10s on the season for that 23. There's Steve Grant throwing in that clutch again. And you kind of wonder if maybe it's helping him turn the thing a little bit as KJ looks to make the move on Ryan Johnson. Not successful on that. Everyone still remains stationary here in the top 10. But only just. They are all right on top of each other. This is what I mean. I mean, everybody has their different driving styles, and everybody has their slightly different lift points. It looks like Ryan Johnson opted to let him by, and successfully does so without losing much time. But despite everybody's different lifting points and slightly different driving styles, everyone, of course, is running different setups. And everybody is right on top of each other. No one has been able to pull away yet. And the only time that you will see anybody pull away will be right around when we get into the realm of probably 8 laps away from pitting. Because then you'll see, alright, who took care of their tires and who didn't. And even then, the field really won't spread out till after those pit stops are done. Of course, with it being Cup Physics, draft does not play too much of a factor. It might help your lap time out a little bit, but it won't make or break your race. If this was a CTS Physics race, oh, big time. You would absolutely want draft. My goodness, these guys are so close together. The 11 still throwing in the clutch. That's kind of checking up Wiley King a little bit. Putting a Fugate right on his tail. Oof, both guys thought about making a move there. A little bit of a run in the corner there for Fugate. He's going to have to get out of that. And KJ looking to take advantage and will do so. That would be for 7th if he's able to take that position. Looks like Ryan Johnson's going to try to follow suit. Double checking up front there, making sure nothing has changed. Indeed, it hasn't. But after contending potentially for a 6th place position there, Fugate now finds himself back to 9th. I know he drives the 9, but I don't think that's what he was looking for there. So he'll be looking to maybe make up some ground on the pit stop. As Wiley King looks to make the move on Steve Grant. Not successful, though. But with Grant thrown in the clutch as much as he is, again, it'll do wonders for your fuel mileage, but I don't think it's doing wonders for everybody behind him. Because it's kind of stacking them all up a little bit, it looks like. On lap 51. Wiley's going to look again. Oof! And that is what you call shutting the door. Right in Wiley's face. That was very, very close there between those two guys there into turn 1, but still clean, still green. And Jeff Stakanis continues to lead Mark Desenza, Herman Reese, or excuse me, Keith McLean, and then Herman Reese. Then that little bit of a gap back to Steve Grant and Wiley King. KJ's on the move, though. He's got a good run, and he's going to take the opportunity. Almost 3 wide. And Wiley King shuts the door in his face. Don't know how pleased they're going to be with each other after this one. As again, Steve Grant with that big arc. It's doing wonders for his corner, but man, when he... Oh, that's in the wall. Yeah, he was trucking there through the corner, and unfortunately just got way too much on that. Yeah, he smacked that wall pretty hard, so that'll probably be some damage. Especially on realistic damage, which these guys do run. So while it's probably not worth wasting the several seconds that it'll cost you on pit road, that may affect the handling of that number 11. That puts Wiley King into the top 5 for the time being. KJ's going to look to make the move once again, and this time Wiley not going to be able to close the door on him there. And the 029 will get clear, so that is now a top 5 for KJ Kilojoules. It's all unchanged up front here. Top 4 still under a blanket here on a relatively even footing. We'll see if KJ or maybe Wiley King or Ryan Johnson can start to reel them in. Fugate up to 8th. Steve Grant is starting to struggle here a little bit. Probably overheated that right front. And then the outside damage isn't going to help him out. Harry Kodian up to 10th. Oh boy, I was just hyping up Maverick a little bit ago. And lost him there, but it looks like he's opting to short pitch. Not sure if something may have happened there with the 23 or not. But this does seem pretty early to be pitting. Considering the fact that these guys went green right around lap 30, I believe. These guys could probably go about another 5 before they would have to pit again, as AJ easily got past Herman Reese there. Herman looks like he may be starting to struggle a little bit. He's actually going to bring her down. He'll be the first of the front runners to do so. Get it down to that pit speed. Nicely done. Very nicely done. So he will get the undercut. Which, depending on how long these guys stay out, would likely give him the lead, to be honest, with how much of a speed difference there's going to be. KJ going to make the move there on his Bomb Squad Racing teammate. Put him up to third. McDaddy's going to bring it down pit road. Coming in hot, coming in very hot, drifting on the pit road. Manages to hold it straight, but don't know if that will be a penalty or not. Dan Rubino, rather, excuse me, facing the wrong way. Going to get that thing pointed back straight. Steve Rubino's already pitted. Ryan Johnson also opting to bring her down. Let's see who brings it in this time. Jeff Stakanis stays out, as does KJ. My goodness, I'm messing up everybody's names. Mark Cosenza bringing her down aggressively. Definitely was over 45 at the line. We'll see if he'll be able to get away with that. Keith McLean coming off pit road there. There's the 78. Checking back up front. Who brings it in this time? Neither of them. Both guys opting to play the long game. And KJ is looking bad fast on this ultra long run. You got a lot of guys coming off pit road here. Some guys coming in. Oh, goodness, we got big trouble. Massive trouble there. Maverick hard into the wall. That'll definitely be the yellow flag. And this is going to be a scoring nightmare. We had a number of guys that were either on pit road or coming off of pit road. Some guys that haven't pitted yet. But before we get that settled, let's take a look and see what caused the yellow here. I saw Herman Reese like suddenly flying through the corner there, and oh no, actually Maverick was not the initial issue here. Looks like we may have just had a case of a guy on new tires running over a guy that may have been on old tires. Actually, I think Jason San Diego maybe was opting to pit from the outside, and Ken Hansen just wasn't ready for it, and oof, there's the hit. That was San Diego just sliding down the track and just ever so slightly clipped the 23 and sent him hard into the wall. But yeah, at the rate that the 22 was slowing down, that's what it looked like. Looked like he was trying to pit with Eddie Rayleigh. And Ken Hansen just wasn't ready for it. Which, I mean, it's kind of tough when you're on the outside lane like that. That is not a whole lot of places to go if you're Ken. And then, yep, there's the clip. Herman Reese just barely missing it, and bang, into the outside wall there. So while Herman Reese may have been spared, like I said, this is going to be a scoring nightmare. As far as who's going to be where now. You got a number of guys that are going to be taking a waiver around here, obviously. Just Candace and KJ have just pitted. They may have been some of the final guys to pit there. But what this should probably do for guys like Jeff and like KJ and anyone who really stretched it there, this should be a plenty doable one-stopper from here. Some guys that really short pitted, like Herman, maybe a little more sketchy. Let's try to make it on that one more stop, but at this rate, it's like, well, you do what you gotta do, or it's like, it'd be all for naught regardless if you're a lap down. And right now, those guys are on the tail end of the lead lap, and it looks like you're going to opt for the wave around, and that will include the 28 and the 73. You also see the 85. Looks like he'll be doing the same thing. Ryan Johnson will be doing it. Very tore up Maverick. Not a very enjoyable night so far for that 23. Harry Kodian will do the same. Bob Gibson, Duke Sorensen. Charlie Tristy will do it. And Rubino fell a couple laps down. And now I think they're trying to sort out, alright, who's actually waving around here and who's ineligible. Looks like Wiley King may have been on the same strategy there. There's Steve Grant. They are currently scored 3rd and 4th, respectively. Steve looks like did opt to get that damage fixed. And 5th place will be the 112 of Ray Dog, Eddie Rayleigh. And just a massive, massive number of waiver rounds, although it looks like they may have decided that is not going to be possible. And that's always the issue with mid-pit window cautions like this, is that it just causes such a mess in terms of knowing who's where and who's going to be on the lead lap, who's going to get the wave around, who's actually the lucky dog, and this is when I am happy to not be an admin. I'm trying to kind of sort it out myself, and if need be, I'm sure that we can always go back and take a look at it. But your race leader is going to be Jeff Stakanis, that is regardless. And he's going to be ahead of KJ. And they're both going to be ahead of the Speedland drivers of Wiley King and Steve Grant. And then you'll have... because Eddie Rayleigh was not 5th. Who scored 5th now? And the game's also going to try to sort that out as well here. Right? We'll find out officially when we go green. If we even do go green this time, they may opt for kind of getting everyone sorted out, maybe for a lap, and then actually letting them race. Right now, Mark Jacenza's crossed the line, scored 6th on the tail end of the lead lap. So let's see what happens here. Let's see how they're going to sort this out. We're coming to lap 66 of 117. We're into the second half of the race now. And yep, everybody's still pacing, so they're going to get it all sorted out first and foremost. I feel like, yeah, what they're probably going to do is let these guys by. And indeed, that is what they're doing. And they'll probably let them catch up. Although now that they've crossed the line, we can officially see what the scoring says. And the scoring shows who's 5th. It's Fugate. Way at the tail. So as it stands, 7 drivers on the lead lap. Seven. That's an oof. But again, that's just the nature of the beast. Whoa, hold on, fellas. Woo. Everybody's caught up. I think we'll get it back going this time. And yep, kind of at the start-finish line there. We are officially back to racing in what has now become a very interesting race here. Through no fault of anybody's, just the timing of the caution and everybody else just suffering for it who opted not to run long. That is the nature of the beast. And it benefits these two for sure. Jeff Stakanis and Julian Wilson. They are 1 and 2. And then, of course, yeah, like I said, you got the 2 Speedland guys there, Wiley King and Steve Grant, in a great spot now. They are running 3rd and 4th. And they are all racing each other Herb Johnston is scored 8th, which is a very, very good run for him. But he is a lap down. He is racing Eddie Rayleigh. That is, I believe, for the lucky dog position. So if we get a caution, this is an important spot here for these two, as Rayleigh looks like he's going to get that. And then just behind them, and also looking to insert himself into this battle with a great run there through the corner, is Randy Smith in the 10. And that was a beautiful corner there. He is going to put himself into P9. Again, if we want to find the other guys kind of in the top 5, top 6, we got to go over to, there's Fugate, scored 5th, then Mark DeSenza's 6th, but they are several seconds behind the race leaders. Herman Reese has scored 13th after being one of the first guys to pit. And the battle is still on here for the free pass. Herb Johnson looking to take it back. Randy Smith just got by the 112. Ken Hansen's part of that mix, along with Ricky Bumbalo. Pretty much all these guys are one lap down, and they would certainly like to be the first car a lap down, and then they'd be able to get back on the lead lap should another caution come out. Right now, Randy Smith has that position as the leaders take lap 72, putting us at 46 laps remaining, and one more pit stop, no doubt about it. Top 3 kind of pulling away here. Steve Grant slipping back a little. Herb Johnston getting a nose to the inside of the 10 car. And that is for the crucial 8th position. And there is that yellow flag. And Randy Smith will get that free pass. And we'll get back onto the lead lap. It appears Troy Donahue may have had an issue and some front end buckling there on that 81. Third caution of the race. And looks like it may start as a self spin and he's escalated from there. Yep, there he starts to lose it. And up, he never got touched. Ooh, until that. And that was Fugate that hit him. Nice save from Steve Rubino, gotta say. And only a third caution of this race in 70 laps. Crazy how we ended up in the situation that we did, but yep, just losing it, and did his darndest to hold on to it. Look at this. Saves it once, still sliding, and then the apron, I think, finished him off. And slam there from the 9. Man, that'll be a lot of damage there for Donahue and the 81. Another driver that's been had some more downs than ups this season. As the leaders have pitted. And Jeff Stakanis will manage to retain the lead. Now, how aggressive are you with waving around here is the question. The good news is everybody's got to pit again, including the leaders who just came down. Randy Smith, of course, is going to get a free pit stop out of this. A little drink break there. So he'll bring it in. I would not be surprised if a lot of those guys opt for the wave around. Even if they're going to be suffering a little bit in the long run. It's like, well, what's the point if we're a lap down? I think we're going to get a big group of guys here back on the lead lap. Randy Smith would put it at 8 cars on the lead lap. And if everybody waves around, that would be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 perhaps. Yeah, we're going to be back to most of the field on the lead lap here. Upwards of at least 18 cars, assuming that they all stay out and get that wave around. KJ has now taken the race lead. I believe the 31 may have gotten a speeding penalty on pit road. He has dropped behind some of these other guys. And the complexity of this race has just shifted big time. He'll still be in a decent position because he'll be ahead of everybody that waves around, so him going EOL is not the worst thing ever, but certainly not good. Because he will be behind a few others. Okay, KJ going to be the race leader. You take one to green, and indeed, it looks like there is a massive flux of drivers that are taking the wave around here. Herb Johnson, I don't think, has got the message. There he goes. So everyone from Herb Johnson all the way back to Maverick. Will now be back on the lead lap or one lap down at worst. And that's going to be huge for guys like Ryan Johnson, like Herman Reese, Keith McLean, other guys that have very fast cars. Fugate is going to be up here in the top 5 now, but again, he hit the 81, so we'll see if that 9 is going to be off the pace at all. It may have some damage. Current running order. After more craziness here. KJ in first, Wiley King, Steve Grant, Mark Desenza, Fugate, your top 5. Monty Keller, Jeff Stacanis. 8th place will be Randy Smith. And then once they get everything sorted out, it looks like it'll probably be Eddie Rayleigh and then Ken Hansen after the 49 struggle to get going there. Of course, those guys are all going to have black flags. So they're going to keep them under caution here to give the admins enough time to clear them. Because the game does not allow you to actually wave around. Got 2 guys out of the race here. Jason San Diego is one of them. I don't recall seeing anything major. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did get spun around. Duh. Here, what am I talking about? Also out of the race is Greg Stenzo. Not sure what happened there at the 051. 21 cars are now going to be on the lead lap. We went from 7 to 21. And we will have 40 laps to go here at the stripe. One more pit stop for these guys. You know that everybody that got that wave around now is going to be begging for one more caution, that then they can get back into an even strategy with these guys. That would be huge for them. What an oddball race, and we have not even had that many yellows. But here we go. The Stella Artois, number 029. 40 laps to go. We're back to green. And despite him disappearing, we know that he is mad fast. We'll see if that will continue to translate into this long run here. That was not the button that I meant to hit. Steve Rubino big into the wall, and will collect Ken Hansen as he comes back up. Big damage for a lot of guys, and he got some others spinning and crashing at the back, including Simpson and Sorensen. Yellow right back out again. That may help out the guys that took the wave around there. But Ken Hansen taking the worst of that. I think his night is going to be over. That number 94, the guy who is 7th in points, is out of it. Through no fault of his own. Steve Rubino meets Calamity Corner, loses it off a 2. Hard into the inside wall, and obviously, I mean, physics are going to take over at that point. Yep, there it steps out, and it's too late to try to hold on to it, and yeah, nothing you can do when you're sliding back up like that. It's like, come on. Ricky Bumbelow around, and then, yeah, everyone else just stacking up behind, and I believe Ron Simpson is also caught on tonight. Yeah, that's a lot of front-end damage there on the 25. Actually, yeah, we may have had some more trouble there in Calamity Corner. 43 started to spin. Collects it onto the apron. And then, yeah, there's the stack up, and yep, that's what happened there. Just a secondary wreck to the first one. Kind of classic Talladega style. You got the first and you got the follow-up. And yep, not to my surprise, but a lot of those guys did indeed pitch, who stayed out for the waiver round. Steve Grant looks like also came in. I believe he did. Yeah, there he is. See some clutching going on there. This is a stretch to make it at this point in time. But maybe you could. But man, you'd have to have some things go your way. You'd have to save like mad to pull it off. Here comes DJ up to the front here. I believe that he will be the recipient of the free pass this time around. So running order now. AJ Kilojoules. Money the King, Mark Cosenza, Monty Keller up to a top 4. And don't look now. Jeff Stakanis up to 5th after that speeding penalty. Yeah, he's going to be dangerous. Hugh Gayton 6th. Ray Dog 7th. Steve Grant, Herman Reese, and Randy Smith. The current top 10. Again, a race that has not seen too many cautions. Ended up being very, very topsy-turvy, just based on when one of those cautions fell during the middle of a pit cycle, or toward the tail end of a pit cycle for that matter. Trapped a lot of guys in a bad spot, and it has taken them until just a few laps ago to get back on the lead lap. And then a rapid-fire caution here. And some guys looking to try to make it on one stop. Or no stops, rather, I should say. Is that possible? Hey, anything's possible in NR2003. That's the thrill of it. That's the fun of it. Strategy is very real and very important. Unfortunately, we're going to have a few more guys out of the race here. Ron Simpson is out. Ken Hansen. Brutal there for the 94. Dan Rubino still 4 laps down, but still running. And with the 77 coming around to take his free pass, there will be at 20 cars on the lead lap. 28 drivers started this thing. 029 still on the clutch. He's going to probably have to do some clutching during this run to pull it off, but I think as these caution laps go on, could be possible. But I still think it's a stretch. I still think that it is going to take a lot of due diligence with the clutch and letting off early. And if someone's faster than you, then just have at it, go for it. But hey, even if you maybe give up a second or two, that sure as heck beats coming down pit road and losing about 30 seconds. Here we go, coming to lap 83. Green flag. Back into the air. So give it 35 laps to go. Fuel in question for a lot of these guys to make it to the end. And will we go green to the end? Battle for a top 10 there. Ryan Johnson going to get that spot. Big run there through 3 and 4 rather. And he's even got a run here on the 73. He's probably going to lift off of that. And this is where, honestly, slow is fast. Oh boy, don't tell that to the 33. Don't tell that to the 31. My goodness, he is on the move. Someone else on the move right now is Wiley King. He has taken the race lead. KJ in full fuel saving mode right now. I believe has let those guys past. How about Wiley King up front here? But he's got Jeff Stakanis breathing down his neck. And heck, even if you're going to be able to make it to the end, got to keep these tires under you. You got to have it in the long run here. Stakanis power move outside. Back to the point. And the yellow flag back out. Looks like it may have been Donahue again and Herb Johnston in the 49. After we were just hyping him up being in the top 10. Getting his lap back. And Calamity Corner has struck again. Turn 2. 49 with a tore up rear end. And around it goes. Keeps it to the inside and then kind of bounces off the wall again. Drifts back up. Oof. For Donahue actually missed him. Then had to save it. But the 49 bringing out, I believe this is the 6th caution of the race. And everybody on the pit road. This is now this is officially the money stop here. Now this will put these guys definitely into the realm of making it to the end. No doubt about it. No fuel saving needed this time. You'll be less than 30 to go. And want your tires though, that's gonna be big. Let's see how they emerge. Get the bottom bar out of the way so that we can see the pit line. If Stakanis coming out, he will take the lead handily. Ahead of Wiley King. Or Monty Kello looks like he may have jumped a few guys as well. He was going to be ahead of KJ. We'll see what how the scoring all shapes out here as it goes. Steve Grant has stayed out and clutching. He's been loving that clutch tonight from the very beginning. Man, oh man. he stays out here, he's definitely going to be on the back foot. Track position, maybe that's just what he needs. It's what he needed at Darlington. And he was able to get the victory. We saw what Fugate was able to do at Rockingham with track position. And a track that I would argue is even more critical to have fresh tires. I don't know, you might be able to get away with it here. But for 27 laps, give or take, it's gonna be a ways to go. DJ has also stayed out. In the 77. See if he may opt to do the same thing. Troy Donahue with the free pass there. Uh, 43 is the lap down. That's Charlie Trusty there. See if the lights go out this time. And I think they will, and indeed they do. So Steve Grant, your race leader, ahead of DJ in second. Both those guys have stayed out. Hoping that the track position will help them out. You got the 43 up here as well, who I'm sure is going to be told to kind of bail out of line once they go green, as he is a few laps down. Jeff Stakanis is third. First guy on new tires. And my goodness, is that a guy you don't want behind you? Not in your mirror, at least. Wiley King and Monty Keller, your top 5. And then, man, you got some heavy hitters lurking just outside the top 5 there. You got KJ, you got Reese, Fugate, Ryan Johnson. How about Ray Dog back into a top 10 here? So, coming to lap 90, we will take the green flag. It will be 28 laps to go. .43 staying low on the track to let everybody by on the outside. Big gap to the 11, who takes the green. And the 77 also on old tires. How's this gonna go? DJ has not had a good season, and if anything, has been in a lot of incidents. He's gonna be in another one, and he takes the Canis with him. Kidding me? He's gonna collect Ray Dog as well. Oh goodness. Oh. That is 3 or 4 drivers out just like that. Bob Gibson, big damage. I believe he may have gone into the air. And the Dominator of the night, 31, Jeff Stakanis, is out. 77 clipped the apron. And Calamity Corner strikes again. And I completely threw out my throat with that call. as I collect my ability to speak. And yeah, what do you do if you're the 31? And then yeah, obviously just car's gonna do what it does. Harry Codian's big hit there. Unreal. And he got 4 guys out of the race with that one. Herb Johnston gave it a go on a strategy call, and honestly, boy, is that backfired big time for a lot of guys. Yeah, drink, my goodness. Ugh. Strained the throat a little bit there, trying to just losing my mind. We'll watch it one more time. And you just see it's stepping, it's stepping, it's stepping, and there it goes. And Bob Gibson just not a big hit, but NR Physics took over. Oof, good stopping job there by Mac Daddy. Unbelievable. And Jeff Stakanis is now out. Along with the 77, along with the 112, 46, 13. And what a moment there. Well, the second half of this race, we have seen some nasty ones. Even in the first few cautions, there were some big hits, but boy, that was just flat out destruction there. That puts the Speedland boys 1-2, Steve Grant and Wiley King. Wiley on new tires, Steve on slightly older ones. Monty Keller in third, and KJ and Herman. He'll be restarting as the top 5 here. Hugate, Ryan Johnson, Ricky Bumbalo, Rick Castle back into the top 10. Duke Sorensen will round out 10th. But man, some guys that, well, Rick Castle, he's been flirting with the top 10 there, but Ricky Bumbalo, not so much, so it's pretty cool to see him up there. Taking lap 94, we're going to be at lap 95 when we take the green. That will put it at 23 laps remaining. And I definitely need to remember when I'm calling these things solo that, yeah, that illness, that, let's see, gave me a fever during Rockingham, gave me a runny nose and a cough during Talladega. It's still not fully recovered. The runny nose is gone, the energy level is coming back. It's pretty much back at this point. But they did tell me that that cough and that iffy throat would be there for weeks. Oh, it's still there. And it just made itself known during that moment in the race. And I hate that for the 77, but man, he has been in so much carnage this season. It just seems to follow him. And then he tries to put himself into a position to get a good finish, and ultimately the car just, all it took was one little mistake, and then the car just did the rest. Well, here we go, 23 to go, and once again, complexion of this race shifts. Steve Grant on old tires as a horde to fend off. He's got 23 laps to do it. Can he do so? Wiley King. How about Monty Keller up here? Had to check up there just a little bit, but again, it's like I said earlier, he can be dangerous on these types of tracks. Let's see if that will indeed prove to be the case. Let's check up there a little bit for Wiley King. That's going to open the door for KJ. To the inside there for third. Monty's going to try to power around the outside, and is going to be able to do so, at least for the time being. Fugate, despite being damaged earlier on, not looking too worse for wear here. Still running 6th, still right on the tail of 73. 78 up here as well. That's Ryan Johnson. Marcus Senza's trying to claw some positions back here. He will take 9th. After a great showing earlier from that 33, it'd be great to see him with a good finish. Like I was saying, he deserves it. After everything that he has been through this season. 20 laps to go. Top 7 under a blanket here. Again, this is a long enough run. You want to keep these tires under you. You can't afford to burn them off. As KJ once again trying to make the move here, this time around the outside. Had to get out of the gas. Now we're going to try to switch back. He gets to the inside. Oh, big apron there. And big time out of the throttle. That would give the position to the 73. 9's going to try to follow suit. Wiley King looking for the lead, not able to do it yet. Fugate up into the top 5. Monty Keller throwing the block on the 73. This is not a full-blown sprint to the finish here, guys. We still got a ways to go. We got to keep those tires under you, like I'm saying. 18 to go. Lap 100. Wiley. Look to the inside there at Steve Grant once again, closing the door in his face. Big defense. Getting lower there on the back straightaway as Wiley was trying to defend and attack simultaneously. 73 is there. Going to try to get to the outside. Almost into the outside wall goes Herman. He's going to try to power around the outside. Oh, not going to be able to make that work as a checkup. Blocks Fugate. In the process, trying to hold on position. Marcus Senza up to 8th. At this rate, he may be able to get involved in this mess. This man is juking and jiving all over the place. Once again, Steve Grant sends it into turn 1, trying to stay clear of the 95. It's working so far, but how long can he maintain that? Not going to be able to defend it this time. No, he's still going to try it. Man, what a job there from Grant. Looking for his 2nd win of the season. Wiley King looking for his 1st. Also looking for a win for the first time this season is KJ. 3 wide. Monty Keller way up the track. He's going to get out of the throttle. He's going to get loose into the inside wall. Saves it. And prevents a yellow flag. But man, now he's going to have to try and nurse that thing around to hold on to a top 10. Down to 6 cars here in this battle. 14 to go. Oh, loose there, 78. Into the 9. 9 spins it into turn 3. Up the track. Yellow flag will come out. Hold it up there. Man, great job, everybody. Oh boy, it is not over. But another heartbreaker. And this time it's the 9. That door slam there from the 78 who got loose off the corner. And I thought they had it saved, but not quite. Fugate just one too many twitches from that car. And there it goes. And he did a good job of damaging it as little as possible. And you could tell he was trying to keep it high, but then once he realized, oh, everyone's going that way, I'll just back it down to the apron. Man, it started with Jeff Stacanis, Marcus Senza fell back, and then Monty Keller ended up getting in trouble, and now Fugate. Go on board with KJ. He'll get a good view of this. There's the hit. And there it goes. He almost had it, and then the back end just kicked out one too many times. Man, oh man. As everybody has opted to pit. Actually, I want to see this here. I think the 93 or 95 may have just taken two, and indeed he did. Wiley King, the two-tire strategy, is now going to give him the race lead. That might just work. We're going to be less than 10 to go. But we'll see. You got Herman Reese now up to second. Steve Grant will be third. The scoring's still a little topsy-turvy, but it looks like it'll be 95, 73, 11, 029, and 33 will now be the top five. Folks, I hope that you are enjoying this thing. This has been stellar racing here. With an incredible driving job from Steve Grant, able to defend the way that he was without making any aggressive moves. He was just driving the track aggressively. That's all he was doing. And he was able to hold on to the lead that way. And now Wiley King on 2 tires. Everyone else's 4 might just put himself in a position to become the 9th different winner in 12 races. Like, you're getting into parity territory at that point. That's insane. But that's just how competitive this league is. And you got guys that can win at any given time. You'll just have those guys like Herman, like Jeff, like Fugate, who just have that little bit extra. And they know exactly where to put themselves, and while sure, luck may play a little bit into that, at the end of the day, you still got to be the one to put yourself in that position, and through strategy and sheer speed, Herman Reese, I would say, is definitely the favorite. But oh, buddy. 9 laps to sort this out for the race win. If we're even done with cautions, I'm honestly going to say that we're probably not. But can Wiley King pull it off? Don't count out Steve Grant yet. I think that he's been holding back, just saving his stuff so far this race. You got KJ, who you know is going to be fast and aggressive. And Mark DeCenzo, who has very little to lose here, being as far back as he is. And of course, you got Ryan Johnson 6th, Keith McLean 7th. Monty Keller's still hanging in after that incident there in the backstretch. He's 8th. Ricky Bumalo, Duke Sorensen, that is the top 10 for what will likely be the final restart unless we get a rapid fire yellow. Race of long green flag runs and short sprints, carnage, cautions, hard racing, very hard racing. What more do you want? Ooh, that's a great restart here for the 73. He's going to look. Oh, KJ gets into the 11. The 11 into the 33. He's around. Oh, big hit there, Fugate. Maverick involved as well. There's that rapid fire yellow. Still racing back to the stripe. Close here for second. Herman's going to get it. Wiley King holds on to the lead. Yet another top dog. Now out of it. And goodness, look at that thing. Well, that means an extended point lead for Herman Reese no matter what he does at this point. Because now his closest two contenders are out. Very, very bold move there from KJ. I don't think Steve was ready for it. He kind of abruptly turned back right, being like, oh, shoot, you're there. And that sent him around, and then a hit from a spinning Fugate and a few others that were also around, including Maverick. It has been a rather miserable night for that 23. Hey, Tyler. Yeah, unfortunate. Man, this has just been one heavy hitter after another. And then the calamity, and my goodness gracious. My goodness. Like, KJ took the run. Herman was kind of holding himself back a little bit there, and Steve just wasn't ready for it, and he tried to hold on to it, and just not enough time for Desenza to react. And then, yeah, there's the slide there. Actually, also involved in that was the 43 and the 44. Oh, my word. Heartbreak in Texas. Sounds like a Hallmark movie. But that's exactly what's panning out here at Texas Motor Speedway. My goodness. And yet again, things change. Steve Grand now out of the picture. Golly. So that will be Wiley King still in the lead with Herman Reese still second. KJ now third. Ryan Johnson fourth and Monty Keller fifth. In what will now be a true sprint to the finish. This will be the final restart. No doubt about it. This will probably be the point of no return. Let's see if we get the one to green this time. We may go another one. Indeed we will. So it's looking like 4-lap shootout. This honestly may be one of the most fun races I've called yet this season. Can't tell you why. But just as a spectator of this, I know obviously I'm calling what I'm seeing, but at the end of the day, I'm just spectating this thing. And as a spectator for this, like, this is about as much excitement as you can get. And obviously it sucks for a lot of these drivers, and I feel for them because I get to talk with a lot of them throughout the weeks, getting to talk to them in these interviews, and you can tell that they're just having fun with it. And for things to just go on its head so quickly like that, it's a gut punch. when you put in that much effort and then it's just all for naught. So I feel for those guys really, really, really badly. But there's no denying that as a spectator, just what comes of that, and just the sheer wow and oh my god factor. that's why I'm a racing fan, simulated or real life. And no amount of nothing's ever going to change that. I'm just going to say that right now. Nothing will ever change that, whether it's the NASCAR playoff format or IndyCar being flawed or F1 doing whatever. At the end of the day, the racing is about the passion involved, badass race cars doing what they do, and the wow factors that they produce. And honestly, even though it's simulated, that is what this race is bringing out in me. And I hope that is the same for anyone watching. And it's an honor to be able to call this. And it's so much fun. And my goodness, 4 laps. I have a funny feeling we may not run those full 4 laps under the green. Someone who may be hoping for a rapid fire caution here is this 95. Herman gave him a lot of grace there in that restart. But what's KJ going to do? We saw how aggressive he was there going into turn 1. Here we go. Let's find out. Ooh, much better that time for Wiley. He's going to get a little bit of a gap. Everyone stays pretty clean up there in the top 4. Mark Desenza with a quick pass there on Monty Keller. And KJ with a bit of a run here on the 73. He's going to take a peek for second place. And he's going to get it in there very, very hard and get clear. Wiley King, watch out, buddy. 3 laps to go. Can you fend off this guy? Power around the outside goes the 029. But he had to check up. That's not quite going to work for him. Herman's actually going to get the spot back. We're coming to 2 to go now. Defensive lane from the 95. Still side by side for second there. KJ and Herman. KJ getting the run off. Going to try to get to the outside of the 95. Actually managed to get to the inside. But he hits the apron. Going to wash up the track. May go 3 wide here for second. Brian Johnson bails out of that. Mark just sends it back into this mix. The white flag coming around this time here at Texas. Wiley King still with the race lead and a car length between him and the 73. Here we go. White flag at Texas Motor Speedway. Side by side still for second place. Big dive there from Herman. Can he stick it? He's going to do so. Big defensive lane from the 95. Going to force the 73 to take it to the outside. That may have just been what he needed, but he's going to wash up the track. Going to get out of the throttle. And that will give it to Herman Reese. Last corner, last lap. And he had it hooked up. Those 4 tires probably made the difference. And the Cadillac going to victory lane for the 3rd time this season. His points lead gonna expand massively. What a job by Wiley King. Did everything he could. But just not quite enough. Spinning around in the grass there is the 73. Holy moly moly. will admit I was rooting for Wiley there to get it done, just since he hasn't won yet this season. But I mean, yeah, he dove it hard into the corner there, trying to fend him off, and those two tires just couldn't quite hold it. Still a valiant effort on his part, and what a job. Let's take a quick look at that last lap here. So coming off the corner, he saw the run and went low. He said, "You've got to pass me high, my friend." And then just dove it hard. And he's trying to get it to stick, but it just wouldn't. And I feel for him on that. But again, remember, he was only on 2 tires. Everyone else was on 4. And in all that, Ryan Johnson 3rd, KJ 4th, and Mark DeSenza. Finally, a result that I think he deserves. He will finish 5th. He was right up there in that battle. Heath McLean, Monty Keller, Ricky Bumbelow, Duke Sorensen, Rick Castle will emerge as your top 10 finishers for tonight. Randy Smith, Herb Johnston, Maverick, Fugate still managed to finish the race. As did Steve Grant, a lap down, but in 17th. Troy Donahue, 15th. And Charlie Tresty there in 16th. Of course, I mentioned Grant, 17th. And then 4 laps down was Dan Rubino in 18th. Those are all the finishers. 19th on down, DNF. Wow. Again, you had a little bit of everything in that, and that was so much freaking fun. I'm exhausted. Oh my goodness. We got a few guys to talk to first. Holy moly. Well, on that note, I think that we will go ahead and get our 3rd place finisher here. Finishing 3rd by only 0.003 of a second. I've just now seen that. 0.003 of a second separated the 95 and the 78 there per second. Dang. Let's get the driver of that Buffalo Wild Wings car up here.
User was moved to your channel.
And there is Ryan Johnson. Do you copy, good sir?
Yes, sir.
Well, Ryan, you were able to get up there and battle for the win after a lot of trying to get back up there after the caution during the pit cycle there, but ultimately, man, especially prior to what happened to Fugate there, 7 guys under a blanket there battling it out. That was some of the most intense racing I think that I have seen so far this entire season. But ultimately, it came down to you, KJ, Wiley, and Herman. I guess I'll just ask you, racing that hard, how the heck you're able to keep your wits about you?
Yeah. Before I even say anything, I want to apologize again to Fugate there. I didn't not mean to get into him. He did accept my apology, but I just I got loose coming off 2 there. Definitely did not mean to cause anything to him. So, but yes, it was pretty crazy. I don't know what was going on with the 2 leaders at the time. We had some warp issues with the 95 all night, and it seemed like it was stacking stuff up. I don't know what happened to Steve Grant there at the end. I think he lost it, on the second to last restart. But yeah, it was pretty intense. Feel like I would have had a better run the first green flag run. We went green for a while, and we had the green flag pit stop. I just couldn't get the position that I wanted to get because of some warping going on. So I was just kind of riding back there. I knew I had a good car, but ultimately just kind of drove it hard all night and tried to get what all I could get.
You certainly He had to drive the wheels off that thing just to keep up with those guys, but ultimately he did that. I was saying, even after you qualified a little bit deeper in the field, I was saying, hey, that's 78. He's always fast, and not surprised that you're able to get up there. But and I mean, the deal with the fugate. I mean, hey, you got a little
Yeah,
loose.
I
So you smacked him. It's hard racing, and it's as I was saying. Turn two has been the trouble spot pretty much all night, and I'm sure
yeah,
you felt that with the getting loose.
yeah, I hadn't really got loose all night, but I was running that outside trying to make something happen to get some positions, to try and be a contender, and definitely did not mean to do that. So again, I apologize to Fugate because I don't want to like getting into anyone. No one does, I don't think so. But it happened, and I'm glad he was gracious enough to accept my apology on that. So I guess we move forward.
And moving forward, indeed, we got Kansas next week. Still, this will be a good points day for you, and you're going to move up here after a couple other guys ended up in trouble there. So, and hey, for Kansas, I guess you could be kind of close, similar-ish as far as track goes. So, I'm sure there's probably going to be some confidence there, especially being the fact that your win this season did come also at Homestead, another uh, somewhat similar-ish kind of racetrack.
Yeah, it's a good track for me. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a good one. So I think I'll be competitive and ready to try and get a win, get a good position.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out for you then, of course. But for right now, though, third place, great job for you. 4 thousandths of a second away from finishing second, but
That's pretty close. I knew it was close coming there to the line. So
that was dang close, man. Oh my gosh, that may have been the most fun I've had calling like a final stretch of laps in my so far. But that was awesome, and glad that you were a part of it. And best of luck to you at Kansas. But of course, before you roll, well, you know the deal. Whatever you want to close out on, go for it.
yeah, shout out to KJ there. We raced pretty hard, but we raced clean there. So we diced it up a few times throughout the race. So always fun racing with KJ Herman. Um, Good job, Wiley, on his finish. He did a hell of a job, even though he had some warp issues. So um, he's been pretty tough this year. Shout out to my wife. I know I've done this, and everyone's probably getting tired of it, but she's got a CT scan this Thursday, hoping everything comes out okay there. And thank her for letting me come act like a race car driver every night. Love doing this stuff. It's fun, and thank you to Hobo Racing.
Well, continued well wishes to your wife there. Hope that um, things come out well for that. And in the meantime, though, you just keep it up with the good racing. And hey, we love seeing you on track, man. And looking forward to seeing what you can do at Kansas.
All right, appreciate you for all you do, supporting us, and come in here and put us online, and so we can showcase what we can do. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
User was moved out of your
Ryan
channel.
Johnson, third place finisher. Wiley King up next here.
User was moved to your
And
channel.
there is driver number 95. First off, do you copy?
I got you, Andrew.
Right on, man. I'm sure not how you wanted to finish second, given that it was on the last corner, but still, hey, the two tire strategy got you up there. Some phenomenal defensive driving there. All in all, I think that you got a lot to be proud of, but I'm sure it may have been a little bit of a bummer. Still, a nice job, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, it's the best finish of the year for me. So yeah, I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, as you should be. And you had a bad fast car all night as well. We're up there mixing it up pretty much throughout the night. And even when it's as I was saying to Ryan, when it was that 7 car battle there with you involved and KJ and Monty and Herman there and Steve there, just that may have been some of the hardest racing I have seen all season long from everybody. So this just kind of walk me through what that felt like, just trying to drive the wheels off of it, yet keep it under you, not getting anybody, just how intense that was.
Well, definitely got to tip my hat to everybody for keeping it clean, because there was a lot of opportunities there for big calamity, and luckily these guys are good enough to know, all right, he does have the position, so don't wreck him, and finishing up front is better than finishing dead last.
Yeah. Yep. If you only win on lap 117, so um, all in all, though, I guess I do have to ask. Probably the two tires. What kind of pushed you up the track there in 3 and 4 there in that final lap?
Yeah, I think so. Because it was just driving hard, and just had to put it in there. I was more worried about KJ. And that one time he got up under me was we went into 3, and I just went ahead and just throttled it in there, and hopefully it stuck, and it stuck that lap, but it didn't stick too well the last lap.
Ain't that just the way that it goes sometimes? But still, man, another great race for you and a great finish. Even if it's not quite the win, it's still you've bad fast, and yeah, you got a lot to be proud of. So very, very nicely done. Tyler Mallon was definitely rooting for you in the chat as well. So very well done. And hey, for only 0.003 of a second, beating out Ryan there. So impressive stuff, man. A really, really good job. But of course, before I let you go here, whatever closing thoughts and shout outs you want to put out there, the floor is yours.
I don't really have much to say, man. Just thanks to teammates. Steve, our captain, he helps us a lot with setups and strategies and philosophies of ways to approach our sets and stuff. And I just got to give a shout out to the team, and definitely all the guys that were running around me for not wrecking each other. And that's about it, I guess. And you guys do a good job on the broadcast stuff too. And hopefully we'll see you some more weeks and in the future.
So far, the full season's on the docket, so hopefully we can keep that up, and hopefully we'll see some more speed out of that 95 come Kansas next week.
Yeah, maybe I'll get to come up here in the interview booth a little bit more often.
Hoping so, man. I enjoy it, but great run tonight, and best of luck next week.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
User was
Wiley
moved
King
out of your
there.
channel.
Oh man, I am so out of breath. I can't even tell you guys. But hey, we still got one more guy to talk to though, and that is
User was moved to your
Really good.
channel.
Mr. Three-time winner.
Wow. I bet that finish was exciting. It was for
I
me.
cannot tell you how insane that was to me, and I was hyping it up pretty much to everybody on YouTube, just like that. That's what I live for is racing like that and the thrills and spills that come along with it, and ultimately end up coming out on top. Last lap pass there for the win, and some of the hardest racing I think I've seen all season long, with 7 guys there under a blanket prior to one of those final cautions there. So phenomenal racing there from you guys, and ultimately you were able to get back on the lead lap after that poor timed caution earlier on during the pit cycle. So you're able to work your way forward and get back up there. But just talk me through racing with those guys and just how crazy that was. It seemed like it was pretty crazy from up here.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I got a little surprised by the start and caught me a little off guard there. Spun the tires, and KJ had a big run, and I was on the radio with KJ, and he's like, I said, if you get an opportunity, take it. And he did. He got a big run and went down in there and slid up, and I got back under him, and I thought, well, he's going to get this. Wiley's on 2 tires, and tires are big here. And I thought Wiley did a great job holding on as long as he did. And that when KJ went past me again, and I got back and he passed me again, and he goes flying down into 1 and almost I don't know how he didn't wreck him. I thought the race was over right there. And I was amazed that he was able to hang on and how fast he was at the end. He did a great job. He came from all the way in the back, had no practice, and I just very fortunate to be in the right place, right time. I was telling Ryan before he moved me up, I was like, I cannot believe how strong he was on the outside there. He had 2 wide racing at one point there inside 20 to go with Steve Grant stayed out on older tires. And, Ryan was probably going to pass us on the top there if it kept going the way he was getting those runs. If he had not, he got loose there. But all in all, it was a good night. Some unfortunate deal. I tried to short pit. That was my plan the whole time, and I got caught. But there was some confusion by some of the other drivers, and it got lead lap guys got pinned a lap down. They just, it gets really chaotic during the pit cycles, and seems like it always happens here at Texas. And the guys that were supposed to go around on the lead lap, they didn't go around, and that ended up pinning a bunch of us even after the wave around lap down. And I just had to be patient and big picture race. I did not have the best car of my team tonight. I had probably the 5th place car of the 5 guy of the 4 horsemen, and Jeff Stakanis, it was his setup, and he probably had the best car and had some unfortunate luck, and I was able to fortunately bring home. Now that qualifying setup, that was all me. I was bragging to them last night that and none of them want to run it, but that's what they get.
Yeah, you've let down the blister of a lap time for qualifying, and yeah, I was saying a lot of heartbreak for a lot of guys there. Even Wiley with the last lap, losing it in the last corner there, but still, yeah, as you said, he had a bad fast car. Steve was doing a phenomenal job, and it's like I was saying, I don't think I could have asked for much more as a fan, quote unquote, and as a spectator. I don't think I could have asked for too much more out of that. Just the amount of uh, hard racing that was going on there, and Texas has always seemed to be a good track for that. So you guys put it on full display there at the finish, and all 7 of you, even if things did slightly come to blows there, with Fugate and Ryan, ultimately that's just a hard racing deal, and no hard feelings there. And hey, it's bound to happen. But ultimately, though, it all came back down to you. And at the very end, you had the car that was able to just hold on to that inside lane when the 95 just couldn't quite hold it off there with those 2 tires.
Yeah, that was the only advantage I had was KJ's aggressiveness. If and he can't afford to be patient. I'm back there, and then Ryan's back there with me. So what you want, you just don't know if the caution's coming out. So he's got to make the move. If I'm in any one of these guys' shoes, I'm doing what they did. If I'm in Wiley's shoes, I'm kind of doing what he did. And KJ, you want to try and control that race, because if that quick caution comes out, you're the winner, because we're not going to restart again. So, and unfortunately for KJ, and fortunately for me, it worked out. I mean, I actually thought, I told him, I said, I think I adjusted my car the wrong way, because it felt like it was slower after we went green. And usually I'm one of the fastest guys in the last 15, because I have a pretty good formula on how to get these things to go quick for a short period of time. And but that was a fun race. I was like, all right, hey, when I started tonight, I'm like, if I get out of here with a top 5, I'd be pretty happy.
Hey, he did 4 better than that. So great job once again.
Thank you.
3-time winner on the season, and going to be a monster points lead for you. Of course, obviously we got the chase, but still, that's pretty huge for you, and just goes to show that that Cadillac is, I think, still the one to beat. That everyone else is going to be trying to beat throughout the season as well.
Yeah, it's looking good. I don't want to touch a thing. We would change one hood pin and leave it just how it is when we go. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think we're going to be a force next week at Wilkesboro. This is our first time there at that particular track with the Cup cars, and when the 5 of us have gone to these first time tracks, we really have shined. So I'm kind of looking. I've already done quite a bit of practice there, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to make any predictions, because you saw tonight. The fastest car does not always win.
Yep. I don't know if I'm seeing if something got changed with the schedule, but I'm showing Kansas next week.
Well, it might be. I thought we were Wilkesboro. Wilkesboro's coming up.
Yeah,
So
Wilkesboro's 20th is what I'm seeing.
Okay, it was Kansas.
But,
oh, we're pretty good at Kansas. I don't know. I wouldn't count us out there. Yeah, I might get to talk to you again.
I'm
Find
sure
out
I'll
how
be.
the weather is.
I'm sure I'll be talking to you plenty this season.
So.
Again, man, yeah, you are the man to beat. That's
we have been fortunate this year. My teammates helping out, and like I told you last week in the interview, is like been in a chance to win every single one of these races and tend to go, and driver error has cost my driver error has cost me a couple of these, and just very fortunate. And I mean, I thank my team. I feel bad. I got to talk to Steve. I think with the confusion tonight, it kind of ruined his race. Steve Rubino, him, and I'll go ahead and spend time thanking him and Dan. They put on a good show here. It gives us an opportunity to race every single week. And I think we get frustrating to him sometimes like children. And he's got a lot going on, and the last thing he needs is more stress from this crap. So Hope he's okay, and appreciate it. And I'm not sure who put this on, but Mac Daddy's been setting them up, so I'll thank Keith for that, and thank you for broadcasting and the Hobo Racers putting on a good show. Last 2 weeks have been good show, not like the first 2 weeks. So appreciate that.
Yeah, that was awesome, and I'll I'll let you go ahead and celebrate here, man. But again,
Thank you.
just keep up that good form, and yeah, you and I will be talking plenty more throughout the season.
All right. Good luck. Hope to see you next week.
Oh yeah, we'll be here.
Thanks.
User was moved out of your channel.
Uh, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. I've got nothing left. I gave it all in that call. Oh my goodness. These guys gave it all. Like everything that they had. And credit to them. Again, I think that was one of the most hardcore driven races that we've had so far that we've been able to broadcast. Obviously, I mean we saw a great race at Darlington. Homestead was a lot of fun, but I think that tonight just really brought the A game here, and man, that was cool. And the fact that they actually went to Texas or already this season, they went to the night version on March 4th, and Fugate won that race, but we didn't call that one. This was the game track, very competitive. Um, yeah, there's not much more that you can ask for out of something like that. And again, yeah, just as a fan, that reminded me of why I love just racing in general, sim racing or otherwise. That's what it's there for. That's what I'm here for, and nothing's going to change that. So thank you to Hobo again for having me do this. We'll see everybody at Kansas next week. We'll see everybody also Friday nights from Charlotte. I believe it is Charlotte for CCR's Error 88 series. And looking forward to seeing what show those guys can put on. We saw what they could do in their season finale a little while back. So we'll get to see them again. That's going to be awesome. But until then, though, everybody have a good evening, and we will see you guys in a few days' time. And again, here at Hobo in 1 week. My goodness, what a race! What fun! Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. Take care.